This is the Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel and Steve Mr. Magic Carfino. Brought to you by Unibet, TCL Plex, and News Corp. What they gonna say next?
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Basketball Show. NBL season 19-20 is off and racing, and we're here to break it all down for you with exclusive news and views that you won't hear anywhere else. We're here thanks to the good folks at Unibet and TCL Plex smartphones, as well as our production partners at News Corp Australia via studios here at the Daily Telegraph in Sydney. I'm Steve Carfino, and joining me on the desk is none other than four-time Olympian Shane the Hammer Heel. And it has been huge. Good for the first week here in the NBL.
Well, it certainly was. So much to talk about. Not sure where we start, but some great performances, some others that we want to call out a little bit too.
All right, let's get started straight into hammer time.
Hammer time. So I'm going a little bit each way here. I'm going to go with a stroke and a poke, and the best person to stroke straight off the top is Mitch Creek. How was he? 28 points, 11 rebounds. He was 9 from 18 from the field, but the most impressive thing about his performance was the way he stroked it from three. Coming back from the NBA, a little shorter distance here in FIBA, 4 from 5 from the land of plenty, and he did it in crunch time. If you're going to have Prather out, you don't want him out against somebody like Mitch Creek. Now we go to the Hawks, and they have some problems early, in my mind.
So this is the opposite of a stroke, huh?
We love Matty Flynn, and good luck to him, but it's going to be a tough year. If you're going to start Nah and Ball, and neither of them can really stroke the ball, and Ball needs to be able to work on his technique. 0 from 5 from the three-point line, but both the point guards, they need more of a shooting guard in there. We'll get to that. And you can't have 2 5-men. It's 2019. Brisbane played small ball against them, and they couldn't get it done. If you're going to start 2 5-men, you better go inside and be able to get some sort of advantage. Didn't get that done. Aaron Brooks coming off the bench. He is a superstar. He will lead the league at the NBL in scoring if he's given the opportunity. Score first, 2-man. So I love what he gets done. And you can't play 12 players. How can you play 12
That's
players?
Ridiculous.
They had 3 guys play between 2.5 and 4 minutes. Just divvy that up and give extra time to Froling and Greeter, who I thought were great and could have done with a little bit more time. So if they don't change that and they don't start moving the ball, because ISO ball equals lose, they need to get it done.
All right. Pretty much you want to have your 5 best players, or the 5 players that are playing best in the basketball game, on the court at the same time. Can't do that with 12 guys.
Certainly can't. But now it's your time, mate. We got Carfino's call.
All right. Let us be very clear on why I am having a little bit of a rant about this. If you could make millions of dollars and you're just short of the NBA, you'd work on the little things that you don't do well. And what Melo Ball, sorry, I did it again, didn't I? What Melo Trimble and Sean Long don't do is they don't come up big on big plays. They can score, I know what you're going to say, 26 and 13, what are you talking about? And then Melo Trimble has a big game, almost a triple-double. He racks it up in every department, but he also racks it up in the turnover department. Comes up with a loose possession, 7 turnovers in the first week against Southeast Melbourne, and you just can't do that. Oh my goodness, these guys are so close, so talented, but they're missing something, and that's what they're missing.
And I thought the decision-making from him in that first game, Trimble, there was no space to drive, and it was just head down. That's what happens when you play on bad teams, and now you have to play for a team expected to try and win a championship.
Yeah.
This is the Starting 5, brought to you by TCL Plex smartphones.
Who's going to start first? That'll be me. Player celebrations. I hate player celebrations. You know what? Steph Curry, because he's so good and such a great shooter, he kisses the sky and thanks God that he's a good shooter. He thanks God that he didn't get recruited and he's got a chip on his shoulder. That's how he plays. I hate celebrations, especially when guys start bumping their chest and looking and waving at their wife, and then they don't get back on defense. That is my rant. That was very white.
You're so old, mate. Let them celebrate. Come on. All right, number 2. What do we got?
All right, number 2 is Randall's return, and that one's yours.
Oh, give that one to me, because Randall going to Adelaide is a blessing for them. I picked them second bottom, but they needed a strong leader, someone with some toughness, and he's the right man. It wasn't a good fit in Sydney because he was so ball dominant, and Bogut didn't want to play ball dominant. They want a ball movement, either did Andrew Gaze. So this is a much better fit for him. Those young guys and some of the talented players they've got will love playing with him.
All right, and I'm next, and I'm just going to say, what did we take away from that 50-point loss, the Adelaide 36ers, 133 to 81, losing to the Utah Jazz, who are undermanned. Their star 3 players, well, Joe Ingles is a star, but Joe is about the only star that played in that basketball game, still got absolutely had their hat handed to them. It was difficult, but all the press that you read coming out of the story of people reporting on that was how it's going to be great for Adelaide. Hey, how is it going to be great for Adelaide? They got embarrassed by an NBA team. Okay.
Yes, they did. Interesting to see how United.
And what do you think of the backcourt for the Sydney Kings?
Well, I told you that this is the best backcourt in the competition, and they proved it in game one. Sure, it was against Cairns, but you got to get it done on the road. They were against the odds at half time because they had no momentum, but they got it done. They got it done through defense. 41 points at the offensive end. Ware found a way to be able to get himself to the free throw line. Those two are class players and the best in the backcourt in the league. Prove me wrong.
All right. Well, one thing I'd like to hear your opinion on, and please,
don't tell me.
Please, yeah.
Casey Prather.
Tell him down your camera. Tell him down the barrel.
Casey Prather. Who are you hiding from? Is it the paparazzi you don't want to be seen signing autographs? You can't wear sunnies in the stadium, Steve. You can't wear.
Come on, man. Only brothers can pull it off.
Come on, mate.
A little Stevie Wonder action.
I can't do that. Mate, you look good like that.
Oh,
Rest
yeah.
of the show for you.
That's right.
It's time now for the Unibet game preview. Who's hot? Who's not?
This week, let's start with Cairns at the Brisbane Bullets.
Well, Brisbane Bullets were impressive. I loved the way they played the other day. I love the small ball that Andre Lamanis is going with. We know Lamar Patterson, he looks a little bit like me, a bit tubby at the moment, but he is a star. Don't worry about that. As he gets in shape, he'll be even better again. Sobey was awesome for his first game. 5 threes, equaled a career record in the first half from the three-point line, so he's good. So many different options. They're going to be tough, and I think they'll be too much to handle for Cairns. They'll win 11+.
All right, Casey Prather right here thinks that Brisbane's going to get done 1-10. All right, next up, Illawarra at the Perth Wildcats.
Well, let's see whether Matt Flynn makes some adjustments on the starting 5, because they are going to get their hat handed to them, in my opinion. They're not playing their best, the Perth Wildcats. They were less than impressive against United, who were obviously missing 3 starters, but they found a way to be able to get it done. Week in, week out, the Wildcats will continue to get better. They'll be too much in front of a big home crowd. I think they'll win 11+, and that is a massive challenge for Illawarra going on the road.
Yeah, I think so too. 11+, because Perth didn't play, and they played poorly on the defensive end, and Trevor Gleeson hates that. So they're going to be pumped up. They are going to really give it to the Illawarra Hawks. Let's go to the next one. Sydney Kings versus the Adelaide 36ers. A little bit of grudge match.
Well, how's this? Jerome Randall, first game back against the Kings. And there's no doubt that, he's going to have a little something for Boga. Drewy's not there. I know their relationship was good, but he's not happy that Sydney didn't want him back. He's got a lot of pride. So he is going in there trying to throw haymakers from the little fella at the Sydney Kings. I don't think they'll get it done, but he'll star. They'll lose 11+.
I agree. 11+. Sydney playing that small ball. Didi should be back into the
bring
lineup.
on Didi.
Oh, man, looking forward to that.
Lazada.
And how about the Brisbane Bullets out southeast Melbourne? And southeast Melbourne were so tough in game 1. They're very resilient. And what do you think of their point guard, too? John Robertson.
Great. Robertson, like 20 points in 21 minutes or something, got foul trouble, but he can just pull up on a dime. Great from the three-point line. They're tough. Madgen, Creek. The only worry for them, for me, is that they're missing Wesley. And I don't like their big fella. He's not going to last too long. Benson, he doesn't have too much so far. So I think that they go down 1-10 against the Brisbane Bullets.
1-10, I agree. Cairns Taipans at Illawarra on Sunday.
Well, this is a great opportunity for Illawarra Hawks. There was a great vibe around LaMelo Ball. Even his old man, there was a line of 20 people lining up to get a selfie with him. It was unbelievable, the amount of people around, and even being courtside, I couldn't even hear anything going through my ear when I'm trying to commentate. But I think they'll get the win. I think they'll bounce back. And they we obviously don't think they'll win in the game in Perth, so they'll bounce back at home. They're going to need to. They can't start the season 0-3 if they think they're a chance to be able to get on the get into that top 4. And I think Brooks is going to have a massive game. He's going to have 30+ in that game. I don't think there's anyone that can handle him. And he's a feisty little fella too. He was at it with everyone. I loved it.
You like the feisty little fellas.
He's only tiny too, mate. I would post him up.
Oh, you know what? Oh, him, Jerome Randall. We all love the little guys that play with a chip on their shoulder. That's for sure. And how about these NBL games? NBA games, New Zealand versus Memphis, then New Zealand versus OKC, and then that one's followed up by the Melbourne United taking on the LA Clippers.
Well, I think they're going to perform a little bit better than what Adelaide did, and both teams have had a little bit more time together. But, a tough one for Melbourne United. Probably not the perfect timing, but no one can really control that because the NBA are obviously in their period where they're starting their preseason games. United with 3 of their starters out makes it really difficult for them to be able to compete. And I'm sure while Dean Vickerman's loving the opportunity to go overseas, he's thinking, wow, the timing for me is I've got to get back home and beat the Perth Wildcats after going 0-2 in the first couple of games.
I'm just laughing because I realize I still have these sunglasses on. and let's go to Prospect Watch. And let me explain the format right here. We're going to talk about the performances from week 1. Shane the Hammer Hill is going to say 3, 2, 1, the best performance of the young prospects that have come into the league. Fire away.
NBA prospects we're going with, and we're going with a young Melbourne United. Akil? Is that how we say his name?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. 2 points in the first game. Wasn't great. In the second game, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 6 from 9 from the field. So he picked it up. Probably could have done with a few more rebounds. Yeah. Been a little bit more active with that sort of length and size against Perth. But 27 minutes, he comes in at number 3. Great start for him.
Great start for him. I love his energy. He's got to get more active on the glass. 3 rebounds in 27 minutes just isn't enough. And then he had limited minutes. I think he played like 9 or 10 minutes in the first game against Melbourne United, but he only had 1 rebound. All that length and athleticism has got to be put to the glass, especially for that team. They need it.
Yep, good start for him, though. He'll get confidence from it. Number 2, LaMelo Ball. And now you look at his stat line, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals. Great anticipation off the ball. He really is. He's long. He's unbelievable being able to put the ball on the floor, break his man down, crossover, finishing around the ring with his length. 0 from 5 from the three-point line. Got serious concerns about his technique. I think when you're shooting it with 2 hands like this on the other side of your face, you're going to be an inconsistent shooter. He'll make threes. He'll have games where he knocks them down because he's got a lot of confidence. 6 from 17 from the field. Question marks about his decision-making of when to take it, when not to take it. And then you balance that up about how he wants to be the number 1 pick versus helping his team get wins. That's something that's going to be a bit of a balance. He needs to get in a stance a little bit longer, but he's a talent.
Okay, so a little bit of a question mark on his
number 2
on his defense.
Yeah, a little
away
bit
from the ball.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right. Who's number 1?
Number 1. Oh, have a look at this. Kouat Noi. Is that how you say his name?
Oh yeah.
Struggle with the names.
And we will know by the end of the year.
Well, he came out at the start. Yeah. He told everyone. He said, "I'm the best next stars. Don't worry about Ball. Don't worry about Hampton. I am the one." And in week 1, he came through.
Yeah. And don't worry about Nate Jawide as well, because he came in first year making some noise as well.
14 points, 12 rebounds. He had 6 offensive rebounds, so really active. Again, he has to be aggressive. He was 3 from 6 from the land of plenty, so I like the fact that he can step outside, but he's got the athleticism, get into the hoop as well, but really active on the boards, and that's what the Cairns Taipans are going to need. So great start for him, building that confidence, not that he needs any.
Oh, man. 6 offensive rebounds. You've got to love a guy that comes out. Say if he doesn't shoot the ball well, and he shot it well outside the three-point line. If he doesn't shoot well, he still has the energy, and he still has the determination to come up with 6 offensive rebounds, and that's key when you're not shooting the basketball well to have a good performance.
Certainly is, and that's why he is the number 1 NBA prospect for this week.
Courtside is when we bring our correspondents all around Australia. And first up from WA is former Perth Wildcat Nick Lakovic. Nick, how did the first game go at home for the Perth Wildcats unveiling that banner? And how will the Adelaide 36ers bounce back from that devastating loss in America?
Hey guys, great to be back again for another show. Well, what a historic night it was for the Perth Wildcats, unveiling their 9th championship banner in front of their home crowd. But in saying that, I felt the Wildcats used their get-out-of-jail-free card early in the season with that narrow 1-point win, escaping with that victory against an undermanned United team that had 3 starters missing. No Prathert, no Goulding, no Barlow. Largely because of their defense, which was atrocious in the first half. Leaking points at will, giving up 54 points at 71%. Now, on the positive side, the play of Cotton, Kay, and Tariko White. Tariko White, once again, the fourth quarter stepped up. 14 points, none bigger than that go-ahead three-pointer with 11.8 seconds to go. The talking point for me will be the lack of impact by other import, Dario Hunt. Only playing 13 minutes in this game, contributing 4 points. He's going to have to find a bigger role and be more impactful, particularly against the Illawarra Hawks this coming Friday night. Over the Adelaide 36ers, how will they recover after a 52-point thumping to the Utah Jazz? Well, they play the Sydney Kings. Now, a rivalry is about to be formed. Jerome Randall returning to his old stomping ground in Sydney, his former club, the Kings. This will be interesting to watch. Looking forward to bringing you this and much, much more on the Basketball Show.
Well, that's why we've got him on, mate. Just such a great basketball brain. I love listening to these guys and their opinions. And Lacko, because he's been over there amongst Perth, he's got a great feel about how that team works. Spoke about White, Kay and Cotton, the big three. They got it done, and they didn't play great basketball as a team, as he said, but how impressive that they found a way to be able to get it done at the end.
Yeah, you always talk about the good teams being able to get it done. Now, I started thinking about Melbourne United. They're shooting the eyes out of that thing, but they really couldn't put the Perth Wildcats away. And a team like that knows how to win, that knows how to persevere through adversity, stay close, and hit those big shots like they've got big shot game winners, that's how they get it done.
Certainly was. And speaking about basketball brains, let's get to PK, Paulo Kennedy. What about Melbourne United and the Phoenix, mate? How do you see their prospects?
Yeah, well, Melbourne walk away with some issues, and most of them are at the defensive end. You know, they're giving away almost 93 points per game. They gave up 21 three-point makes in the round at 45%, and they gave up 53 free throw attempts. So they're not really taking much away from their opposition. Now, a lot of that goes back to the ball screen and the dribble handoff, or even just the straight handoff from the big to the small. Both the Phoenix and the Wildcats toyed with them on those plays. And that goes back to Trimble and Long. So the question is, can they get those guys to the level required? The good thing for Melbourne, though, is time is on their side. You know, they're zipping 2, but Dean Vickerman would walk away saying, you know what, we lost 2 games by a basket. We've got 3 starters to come back in. It's 2 weeks until our next meaningful game. So they've got a number of issues they've got to get right, but I think they would look at it and say, once we've got our full squad on deck, we can be right up there. And if they can almost win at Perth with half a team, they can certainly get it done later in the year. In terms of the Phoenix, I reckon they'd be asking themselves 2 questions. The first is, what are we going to do about the fact we've got 2 backup centres? You know, Dane Pineau was pretty good on the weekend. He did a really good job. And Keith Benson came in and was pretty good on the boards too. But neither of them is the guy that's going to carry you to a championship or even get you to the championship as the rock of your defence. They've got to do something there. The other question is, why did we play Ty Wesley when he had hamstring soreness? He's now out for a few weeks. That's going to hurt them. Apart from that, they'll be pretty happy. What a dream start. Roberson and Creek carrying them to a fantastic victory. They welcome Brisbane to town next week for their first home game. That's 2 really exciting teams. I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Well, PK's virtually agreed with what you said regarding Melbourne United, and when you talk about the pick and roll defence and some of the techniques that they use that they really need to be able to work on, but Dean Vickerman's certainly not going to be worried about that. And South East Melbourne, Benson and Pineau, he called them both backup point guards. Pineau was good. I reckon he's improved, but Benson, they need someone who's a little bit more dominant.
This is a real opportunity for the Phoenix right here. They can come out here and get some wins with their best player, their best post player, Ty Wesley, out with an injury. Now, it's questionable as to why they played him with hamstring soreness, but they have an opportunity to pick up some wins, rest him, and get the confidence of these guys coming off the bench. Speaking of confidence, let's go to one of the most confident players to ever play in the National Basketball League, Derek Rucker, former MVP. Derek, how did the Queensland teams go, and how do you think they'll go this week?
The Taipans blew a huge opportunity to get an upset victory over the Sydney Kings in round 1 of NBL 20. The Taipans looked decent, nothing brilliant. I just thought the Kings were a little bit flat opening the season on the road. The Brisbane Bullets were one of the best looking teams of the competition in round 1. Lamar Patterson is an absolute MVP candidate this season. Fit, unfit, no matter what you want to call it, the guy can play, the guy can put the ball in the bucket, and he is really thriving in Andre Lamonis' more free-flowing offense. Get the pun? Hey, the Bullets take on the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix next weekend, in which should be a huge battle. The Bullets are really good on the perimeter, and if those big guys can hold down the paint, the Bullets are going to go a long way this season. They look really good. Hey, it was a good weekend for Queensland basketball. Catch you right here next week on The Basketball Show.
Well, and it's not just Jason Kadee. I thought Sobey was fantastic. Glidden chipped in as well. Their Americans didn't really do too much outside Patterson, but I actually don't mind the way they look. Hodgson was great inside. He's really the lone man as having a 5-man. So I love their style, and I think they're going to challenge a lot of teams this season.
All right. Well, they're going to do it, and they're going to have to do it in crunch time, and that's the name of this segment. And this time, we go to Jason Kadee.
All right, first crunch time of the year. We've got Jason Kadee. Who else? And can you show us some personality, mate? I've already given you the format. First question, fold or scrunch?
Scrunch.
What? Pineapple on a pizza?
Nah.
Geez, 0 for 2 for you. First thing you said when you saw your son born, congratulations, by the way.
I said, what the F? Because it was just a shock and amazing.
And it is incredible. Shout out to your girl too, I guess.
100%, she did a really good job.
First player you would pick to start a team, not from Brisbane.
First player I'd pick to start a team, Casper Ware.
Fair enough too. Coach you would want to play for outside of Brisbane.
Dean Vickerman.
Okay, who wins a fight, Andre Lamanis or CJ?
That's weird. Andre's probably quicker, but CJ probably got the strength side. I'll go with CJ.
Who wins the title outside Brisbane?
Have to go with Sydney with the personnel they got.
Who would you like to have a beer with, LeBron or Kobe?
Kobe.
Why?
Because I loved him as a kid. I'd love to just be able to sit there and drink with him, and I heard he's a really good drinker, so that'd probably go for a while.
Who do you recruit first, Joe Ingles or Paddy Mills?
Oh geez, tough one. I'll go with Joe.
Yeah, just so you get more court time. I knew that. Pre-game ritual or superstitions?
None really, but just I tend to just stay really relaxed and just try and keep it calm.
One player you wouldn't want to be stuck on a deserted island with?
One player from Brisbane.
Or the NPL, doesn't matter.
Cam Glidden.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any donuts for us this year?
I'm trying not to, but last time I gave you a couple, so I'm going to say no.
Mate, and I don't need any more donuts, man, alright?
But if I do get one, I'm coming to you and we can share one together.
Good luck, fella.
Cheers, Emma.
Well, good for Jason, but what puzzles me, or what I really want to know, you're there in Wollongong when Andre Lamanis just sprinted by the camera. What happened? Like, what was the
Well, let's roll the tape and have a look at it. And at first, I thought that he may have had a little bit of a dodgy, Thai dish somewhere down in Wollongong, and he's in a hurry to be able to get off the floor. So if someone knows more, let us know. But I think that's what happened, mate.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for the show. I'd like to thank Unibet and TCL Plex Smartphones and our partners at News Corp Australia and the Daily Telegraph here for these studios that we are using. Very professional. That's it for the Basketball Show. I'm Steve Carfino. That's Shane Heel, and we'll see you next time.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.